So why we were so successful in our network is we did that work. We helped others see how that is valuable. And then in turn, they want to help us.
Is the thought of being imperfect keeping you from taking action? Welcome to Inspired Action for Imperfect Humans. Each week, we give you real-life stories and thought-provoking research that inspires your soul to live a more fulfilled life through your own actions. From the heart of Calgary, Canada, here are your hosts, award-winning coaches, Christopher Lawrence and Kyle Kalloo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting week. I am really excited about this week's podcast. Christopher, I know you want to know why.
You know what, Kyle? I'm barely going to talk through this because you give me crap all of the time.
From a previous week. I want to come out today. I want to come out.
Listen, can we talk about that in a second? I need you to speed this up. We're running out of time.
See, he just had to say it. Guys, he just had to say it because I'm like, this is my week's podcast. So I want to come out. Because, I fell asleep on my networking. I fell asleep on my networking. And that happens to so many people. In their personal lives, as well as their business, as well as their leadership, as well as their team. We fall asleep, and I did. And let me tell you what happened. Okay. So I was with a networking group, and I was with this networking group for a long time. Very successful networking group, and I'm going to tell you why it was so successful in a second. But I was with this networking group for a long time. So many things were habitual about it, and we did it. We saw what we needed to do. And I did the thing that people will tell you not to do in the workforce, where they say, don't quit your job before you get another job. I know some people are old school that way, thinking that. Now I think in the new day and age, oh no, if it's not working, we're going to quit, right? And I did something quite similar. I actually left my professional networking group without having another networking group set up or organized, or even a strategy to keep networking going. You know, I'm a big fan of networking. You know, I enjoy networking. We see the results, the things that we've done in our business has grown because of our networking. Our social circles have grown because of networking. And so when I was a part of these networking groups, like maybe some of our listeners today, we saw growth, not only personally in ourselves, but we saw growth financially in our businesses as well, right?
I think most people actually dislike networking. I can tell you with my clients, we just calculated our numbers. I have over 7,000 coaching hours. And I can tell you that every time I bring up networking with my clients, they're like,
why do people feel, why do they feel
well,
that
because
way?
it feels like work, but I think that people don't understand what the purpose of, like, I don't think they understand how to, like, they all think it's like schmoozing, kissing babies and trying to bid for attention and affection and trying to get something from the person they're networking with.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I, both being award-winning networkers, we know that that's actually not what networking is for.
Right. And that is true. But here's the thing you have to keep in mind as well, is there's a few people, like most things, ruined it for the rest of us. Right? Because they did exactly that. And people are experiencing that right now in this day and age of this pandemic of everything being online, the amount of requests. I mean, you and I both know, we look at our LinkedIn requests all the time, or inboxes,
I get 5 requests
emails
a day.
Okay.
I get 5 requests a day, and their tagline is always, I help coaches something about 6 or 7 figures, or move their programs to online. I appreciate that we're all just out there trying to get their stuff, but there's more noise than real connections happening. Everybody's fishing, trying to catch something, but what they're not doing is casting a net saying, how can I help?
Not only that, I was just going to say to you, some of them are saying that, but where it actually changes, they're not genuine. Because as soon as you think, okay, maybe this guy can help me, and you get on the phone with them, the sell starts. And I just thought, oh, but I thought you could help. Like, what doesn't sound like you're helping if you're trying to sell me something, right? Or they fake you up by saying, tell me more about this. What are you doing about this, right? So they're not really being genuine on it. And I think that's what I'm saying is I think why some of your clients may, and mine too, that don't like the networking is because of what they've experienced. And here's the thing. I want to help people do better with their networking. Here's how I think, Christopher, and I know you'll agree with this, how we were able to be successful networkers.
Well,
Only
wait, can you go
because,
back a second here? Because I want to
right.
hear this oops part.
Well,
Because that
here's the,
impacts me. So I want you to come out to the rest of the world about how you screwed up.
it's not oops, I screwed up. It's oops, I fell asleep on doing the things that I know worked. And what I want to talk about is when we were, which is where I was getting to, but because he's so impatient, I couldn't even get to the story because he wanted to know the story now. What I was going to lead to is the oops part is why we were so successful in networking is because we were with a group of people who actually did the networking. They did the work. And the networking work is truly about how am I going to help you? How do I actually find opportunities and get more? Like, really, we heard of servant leaders all the time. How do you serve your team and all these other stuff? In the networking, you truly have to genuinely want to help this other person. And sometimes they want to be connected with someone. Sometimes is they want information. Sometimes it's about how you can actually support them, validate them. So there's a lot of different things that's happening. It's not always transactional money, money, money. Yes, that plays a role, but think about what a network is. It's that connection. It's that involvement. It's that support. It's that something you can count on. So why we were so successful in our network is we did that work. We helped others see how that is valuable. And then in turn, they want to help us, right? It really is about, because think about that. If you have someone in your inner circle, in your network, who's always saying, Christopher, let me help you with this. Hey, I made this happen for you. Hey, I want to connect you with this. Hey, I got this for you. After a while, you're just like, shoot, I need to find a way to help this guy. Right. And it just becomes so organic that they just feel they want to help. So what I'm saying is when I fell asleep on that, and I really want to disclose that to people, is I stopped actually doing that. I stopped finding ways to help someone else, right? In their business, in their life of things, where I could say, listen, I don't know what you need, but let's have a conversation. I don't go into it with like 7 people I could refer them to. I go into it by saying, let me truly understand what's happening for you. Where do you want to go? From where are you at right now? Where do you want to go? And so from my perspective, it's about falling asleep of not doing that. So I'm actually curious, while we've been chatting, were you able to actually get any stats on what the benefits of networking? Because I want to give some tips on
Yeah, totally.
networking.
So here's some things I'm going to talk about it from a professional perspective, but
Okay.
professional includes both business owners, leaders, team members,
Mhm.
employees, the whole
Brilliant.
gambit, the unemployed. Okay,
Right up my
so
alley. Yeah.
so here's some fascinating statistics on networking,
Okay.
and this comes from review42.com. Okay, this was updated February 26th of 2021. So this year, okay, 85%
Wow.
of positions are filled through networking.
Oh, hands down. I can't remember the last time I applied for a position,
Yeah,
really.
we
Because
just
someone
hired.
else.
Sorry, Kyle.
No,
Well,
I was
girl,
just
that's
gonna say,
because you're a business owner
okay, no, but
now.
even
Yeah,
before, like it's
yeah,
been many years I've
yeah,
had to apply for a position
yeah.
because someone says, hey, such and such is looking for such and such. Hey, did you ever thought about such and such company?
Actually, in my professional career, I had 3. Never mind the positions I had, because you'll
Okay.
switch positions within a company.
Within.
I had 3 professional organizations that I worked for.
Mhm.
Only one of them was a cold application. The other 2 were I was placed in networking. We just hired 3 brand new people,
Mhm.
and 2 of them came from our network. Only one
Brilliant.
of them was a
Absolutely.
cold interview from nowhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I agree with that stat. I agree with that stat. It's always, I think that's where people are sleeping on that too. Right. And so that's going to lead into my call to action because I believe people are sleeping on their own network as
I
well.
100% agree. And they think they can't do it because it's digital, but that actually, this is your opportunity. So,
Right.
and it's easier to do it digitally than it is to go to a networking event. So here's a couple more statistics.
Right.
95 of professionals consider face-to-face communication vital for long-term business. 95. I don't know what those other 5% are
Wow.
doing that they're getting business, but networking and connections. are extremely important. 70% of people found a job through connections in a company. And I'm just looking.
Yeah, that makes sense. The whole face-to-face piece of it, when you look at it, people want to do business with people. People want to connect with people, right? And that's why, even those people like, oh, I don't know if I don't have to talk. Again, I hear you. Maybe that's the 5%, but people still want to be connected with people.
There's one
What's
more
next one?
stat here for business owners.
Okay.
So we talk about close rates in business. So
Yeah.
basically, like how many deals are you closing?
Yeah.
The
Converting,
close
yeah.
rate for face-to-face meetings is 40%.
Yeah. Hands down. Hands down.
So that's big.
Yeah, it's huge. So the stats are obviously out there. And so I think as you're thinking about your networking and you're thinking about for yourself, what can you do? What are some things that you can do to wake up your network? The number one thing I was saying, and you did an article on this, Christopher, for those people who are in jobs, and I hope we could provide that in the show notes as well, because I think there's some valuable information on that. When you're reading that, I want you to pivot to your business, to your leadership, to your other parts, because they're really the same thing. Keeping it relevant. Number one is take an inventory of your network. Who do you actually have in your network, right? And again, bringing that top of mind. And the second part of that is what would re-engage your network? You already heard the stats. It's about face-to-face. Could you jump on FaceTime? Could you jump on Zoom? Could you jump on a phone call? Absolutely. Once you know who's in your network, you will be able to say, how do I want to re-engage? And the third thing I would say is find out what's happening in their life and listen to ways you can help them, right? Because sometimes we don't know what we need, right? Sometimes it's hard when you say to someone, hey, what can I do for you? Hey, can I write? Sometimes it's about listen to what they're saying and make an observation, see what you can help, right? I remember one situation where someone was just going on about something. They were, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I didn't know who to recommend. I didn't know how to help them, and I just simply say, okay, if I could donate my 2 hands to you, how could that help you? And that person said, wow, if I had an extra pair of hands, this would be helpful, right? So sometimes don't feel that you have to go in and solve everything. You can just simply say, if I can give you my time, right? My energy, or hey, if I could throw a buck or two to this thing, how could that help you, right? But listen with the intent to actually see how you can do that.
I think even asking people, what are 1 or 2 or 3 things that you're working on right now? And what are 1 or 2 or 3 of your biggest challenges, roadblocks, or opportunities with those?
Yeah.
And then just listening for opportunities to connect them with others, to connect them. Sometimes it is connecting it with your skill set for sure, but don't be so deliberate and focused on that, because I think the overselling part of it is where people fall apart. It is really about how can I help you so that you feel like you want to help me too. So we're not going to a networking meeting with our hands out. We're going to our networking meeting with a basket full of goodies that we're going to give to them if there's something in our basket that we can connect them to, right? And then at the end of that, then you can say, oh, would it be all right if I shared a way that you could help me?
Yeah, absolutely. Or even that step 5, I would say, is don't be afraid to come back and say, how did that work out with that guy I connected you with? How did that work out when we did this? How did that, come back and close that loop or keep that loop going, right? Where you could come back and maybe then you can say, you know what's interesting? I could actually use a pair of hands myself. Would you be interested? People are hardwired to help people. If you said to someone, I need some help, we're like, I don't even know what it is. I'm going to say, well, yeah, sure. What? Let me see if I can help. Right. But the moment you start the conversation by saying, hey, I need a favor, we're a little bit hesitant. We're like, I don't know. Right. But when you say, listen, I need some help. So again, find ways to help someone out. So with that said, I am curious what imperfect inspired action you're going to take this week when it comes to waking up on your network. I want to hear about it. What have you done? Because there's a lot of people, like Christopher said in the beginning, that don't like it. Sometimes a lot of people are looking for tips and tricks and strategies and tactics. So if you have those, share those with us. Thanks for listening this week.
Thanks, folks. Good luck, and let us know how it goes.
It's our goal to build a global community of inspired action takers. And we can only do that with your help. So if you love inspired action, please leave a review on your favorite podcasting app and share us on your socials. You've heard from us. Now we want to hear from you. Go to inspiredactionpodcast.ca and tell us, what is the inspired action you took this week? Next week on Inspired Action for Imperfect Humans.
In organizational politics, manipulation of power is exercised where parties will compete for power by playing the politicking game. To those who don't have good tactics, they will lose the game and may be jeopardizing their position in the organization.